Hey, what the hell are you doing walking around dressed like Star Wars?
It's Comic-Con, you idiot. We're going to the Javits Center.
Well, you're the idiots, because you three guys would never be walking together.
Yeah, you're his boss, and you two guys are enemies.
Yeah, bite me, Captain Kirk.
Hey, whoa, come on. No, that's Star Trek.
Yeah, that's two different franchises.
Yeah, sorry, guys. She doesn't know.
Nah, it's okay. I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Let's go.
Oh, hey, come on. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fanzone Debate. We got a fun match for you today. We got Alex Martinez taking on Adelaide Spence. I set up this green room, and then Adelaide Spence said, fuck yes. They were very excited. But then I asked Alex what they thought about the match, and they said, I believe, and I quote, Spence has never beaten me in anything. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have the stats in front of me, but we're going to find out today what happens. I'm excited for this. We got Javi and Tyler here to judge with me. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Tyler, first-time judge. You're going to do great, Tyler. No pressure. You're going to be fantastic. Don't worry about it.
I got more pressure than they do. I don't understand.
So let's talk to the players. Let's bring in Adelaide first. Adelaide, is it true? Have you ever beat Alex in something?
I don't think so. Ignoring basically we've played in multiple leagues. I have no wins against him. Some of them are more, most of the time is pretty fuck shit. So I'm hoping this one will be above board, and honestly, with debate, I think it's more likely. There's no randomness to it, so I have some good confidence in myself.
Awesome. And Alex, what about you? Do you think your reign of terror will continue?
This is probably the closest to fear that I've gotten, because I don't have Jack backing me up, or Jack backing me up, or my various geek knowledges that I have over Spence. So this is definitely, if I'm gonna lose, this is it.
Okay, well, good confidence there from the players. All right, well, this is how it's going to work. The players drafted categories. I gave them questions based on those categories, and they're going to debate them tonight before our very souls. So they're each going to get 1 minute to open their argument, followed by a 5-minute freeform, followed by a 1-minute closing. At the end of the debate, Tyler, Javi, and I will write on our boards who we thought won the debate. 2 out of 3 votes will win you a point. First player to 3 points wins the match. Any questions from the debaters?
No.
Okay, let's do this. All right. We are going to kick this off with the first category, which was drafted by Alex in the category of YA. Your question is, as I get out my stopwatch, what is the best scene in a Twilight movie? So many to pick from. Alex, you will be going first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
My feelings for Twilight are complicated. But when it comes to best scenes, you really have to eliminate a lot of garbage and, frankly, a lot of meaningless posturing and focus on what it is. One couple struggle to chill the fuck out and just be together. Bella and Edward's entire relationship can be defined with a single problem. He has no idea what she wants, and she has no idea how to communicate it to him. Except for one moment. At the very end, somehow they're already married with a child after only 2 years. Only after all that can she finally let her guard down enough to tell him her side of the story, her memories, and the little things that she remembers that are really important to her. Not the meaningless drama, not all the side characters, but just the two of them together forever.
Time. All right, we are going to bring in Spence. Adelaide, you have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
The whole premise of the Twilight franchise is following a shitty, abusive relationship. We don't care. The acting is bad. The writing is bad. You don't give a shit about the lead characters. We're watching this by obligation because we're in fandom. What is the best way to work around that? What if we have a scene where None of the context for the characters matter. None of the shitty writing or the shitty romance or anything. You watch one of the greatest scenes in film history. You're watching the Cullen family play baseball. Supermassive Black Hole is one of the greatest songs ever and put to an incredibly fun, campy scene. Twilight in its nature is a campy franchise, and this is one of the few scenes that really opens up to it and really embraces that fact. It's not hiding behind anything else or trying to use something else like a cover. It is pure camp. It is well thought through with the timing, the baseball bats, the lightning. I think that like there's fun moments with like Alice's insane pitching form. Like all of it is thought through to a weird extent, and it makes it genuinely fun, which none of the rest of the franchise even is.
Her pitching form, that was good. All right, guys. You guys have 5 minutes. I had to think about that for a second. I will throw up a 1 minute warning when the time comes. If you're talking over your opponent, it will make me sad, and I will put up the let your opponent talk. I know Alex likes people that smell good. Nick does tend to smell nice, but if I send him to your house, you're not going to like him, and I will do it if you're talking over your opponent, so don't do it. All right, 5 minute freeform. When one of you start.
I think the major problem with the baseball scene is that it is not particularly indicative of the Twilight franchise at all. There's nothing about it that wouldn't scream vampire. There's nothing about it that screams this is a romantic moment. There's nothing about it even that is different from the rest of the movie, really, which I think is a major strike at it. It is completely plucked out of it's just like if you picked like them like meeting for the first time and him kicking or meeting and then him like kicking up the apple. It's just not at all indicative or reflective of the franchise.
I 100% agree, because the question is, what is the best scene in a Twilight movie? Nobody fucking likes the Twilight movies. What I have done is I'm doing exactly what you're saying. I'm saying remove the romance, remove the context. People aren't coming to it for that. This was included within the categories, basically like, yeah, it's like it makes sense. And I agree. It's like an obligation to include it in a YA franchise. But 95% of players not named me or you do not want to study this because they hate the characters. This has minimal talking, but it does embrace the fact that they're vampires. The whole context of the scene is they need to play it during the thunderstorm because that's when like, they're going to hit this ball fucking super loudly. They're booking it. It's like, oh, is that a home run? Not with us. And he's running like fucking 2 miles to catch that ball. He's jumping up a tree to catch a fly ball. It is genuinely fun and genuinely thought through. Most of the rest of the franchise is just kind of shitty writing. This removes all of that.
So let's go back, because letting the vampires be the vampires implies that there is some kind of like super incredible vampire, like vampirism powers going on. They're moving fast and jumping high. That is something that you can see in Captain America. That is something you can see in any Batman movie. Like that is not indicative or reflexive. The fact that you're coming at it from a fandom perspective, frankly, irrelevant. The first Twilight did $500 million, and Breaking Dawn Part 2 did nearly $1 billion at box office. So it's not like this wasn't like an unpopular franchise. The franchise gained momentum over time. But I actually agree with you. You're right. Let's take the talking completely out of the equation. Bella showing Edward her thoughts, absolutely no talking. It is just the two of them, their moments together, their moments apart. The things that hurt her, the things that that she loved, the things that she found impressive. And I think it stretches all the way through the franchise. He cannot find out what she wants, and he cannot give her what she wants because she doesn't know how to tell him. And finally, at the very end, at the close of whatever this weird story was, she goes, hey, I want to show you from my perspective, from a supernatural, a true supernatural and romantic gift I want to give you because I love you. Let me show you the story from my perspective.
So here's the problem with that. I think, above all, this is a bad relationship, not because there's bad communication. Edward's desire to see Bella's thoughts isn't, oh, you don't communicate well. It's, I need to know your every single thought, so I'm like not able to control you. But that is the sign of an abusive relationship of, I want to know everything about where you are, how you're feeling. I want everything about you to be 100% accessible by me. I need to be the one to basically take whatever you're feeling without your consent. And the solution to that is a clip show from 5 movies that are super long and we don't care about. It is bad in context and really fucking boring out of context.
But okay, so this is not really about Edward so much as it is about Bella, because he is saying he expresses in the first movie, I would like to know your thoughts. It perplexes me that I don't. And he that's true the entire time, but only after all this does she finally go. Like, you're making this out like Bella has no thought. Bella herself goes, I would like to give this to you as a gift. Please, like, have my thoughts. That is the nature of their relationship, whether we like it or not. And from a romantic perspective, the things that matter to them as a romantic coupling, these are the 2 things that they want to have. This is like a part of their dynamic. Whether we can like or respect or appreciate it, it is a part of them.
But Edward's whole thing from the first movie is obsession with Bella. You see in the classroom scene, he's like, he is obsessed with her. He is panting, thinking about her. Everything about her is his desire to control. This is the sign of her basically giving in. It's tragic. This is like the ending of Taming of the Shrew, fully putting her head beneath Petruchio's boot and saying, I am yours. It is terrifying to think about.
Done. Okay. We are going to start closings with Adelaide. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
What are vampire powers in the Twilight universe? It's running, it's jumping, it's snapping off heads like fucking rock'em sock'em robots, and occasionally blood sucking. The franchise is badly thought through and not a lot of effort is really put into it. The romance is bad. The acting is bad. Most of us can agree we don't enjoy watching these movies. What is the best way to work around that is to embrace the campy, ridiculous nature of the franchise that is already doing a bad job at everything and having something that is purely fun. The baseball scene is fun. Everything is thoroughly thought through. Supermassive Black Hole, cannot be understated, is an incredible song. And I think if you're genuinely going to show someone a scene out of context, this is the scene to say, hey, this is fun. Let's watch this for like 2 minutes or whatever. In context, as you're sitting there, you're drudging through the movie. Like, I don't give a shit about this car accident. I don't give a shit about like her weird thing with Jacob. Give me to the baseball scene. You're looking forward to it. That is the sign that it's a good scene.
Okay. We are going to move over to Alex. Alex, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
In the end, the baseball scene is good for what it is. Vampires doing slightly above average human things that does not inform anyone of anything. It is not shot any more differently than any other scene in Twilight, but the scene where Bella shows Edward her thoughts is the better piece of filmmaking and storytelling. It gets to the very heart of the saga, revealing the characters at their most vulnerable, deepening and completing their relationship, and proving that the most powerful moments in a story aren't always the loudest, and that the quiet moments of a relationship are often the most meaningful in retrospect. It's a scene that truly defines their connection and elevates the romance from an awful love story to truly something. Views was fine. Supermassive Black Hole peaked at like number 2 in Scotland. Another 1,000 Years went 10 million, I think, in sales. So I will honestly say that Supermassive Black Hole, not actually as big a hit as you're willing to believe.
Oh, man. You know, I'm not going to let it affect my judgment at all. But 1,000 Years is a banger.
So good.
Is that those movies, you can watch all of them in a row and be like, this was terrible. And then like start to weep during the credits.
It gets you, dude. It does get you. It's crazy.
Oh, that song is awesome.
Literally, I think one of the better end credit scene for any franchise. Like, I would prefer that.
The sequence, the sequence.
Yeah, like crediting literally every actor in the franchise ever. Period. Kind of baller.
Please tell me you can't hear the cat.
I did not hear a meow.
Okay, good.
I also need to feed mine, but I can't do it in the middle of the face.
All right, I'm ready. Javi looks like they're ready. Tyler, how about you?
Almost there.
Okay, sounds good.
You could feed your cat in the middle of the debate. It just, you'd have to let your opponent talk a lot more,
Yeah. I'm not going up against him. Sorry, I want to talk back.
All right. I'll be going first. I'm going to go with Spence on this one. Here's why. I didn't think Spence's whole abusive relationship, like, I get it. But as an argument against Alex's scene, didn't totally buy into that. That being said, I thought Spence did a phenomenal job talking about why their scene was really fun in a sea of really bad scenes. Alex did a good job pointing to the fact that his scene is good and is an emotional payoff to the films and to the relationship and the core thing of the series. But I felt like there was never a moment where Alex really took down that baseball scene, and Spence did such a good job of saying why that scene is so much fun and good in that movie and in the series, in and out of context. So I went with Spence. Javi, your thoughts?
I disagree. I went with Big Dog Martinez.
Nice.
Alex, I think Spence painted a really good idea of like, this is what makes the scene cool and interesting in a sea of not a very good movie, which I think was good. And maybe Alex should have attacked the scene more. But I think ultimately, and I don't know if this was Alex's strategy or not, we mostly didn't talk about the baseball scene. It was just sort of like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but it's not that different from everything else. Anyway, moving on. And then we never really went back to it. Like, Spence was so preoccupied playing offense, and I think Alex's defense was so good that we never got anything beyond, it's fine. The baseball scene's fine anyway. Who cares? So, yeah, I went with Alex.
All right, Tyler, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought both played it pretty well. It seemed like a lot of this debate was about the popularity of the Twilight franchise, maybe not so much about the best scene. So Fair. That kind of took out a lot of it for me. So trying to see what I could find. I don't really know how to draw things out. I went with Alex on this one. I mean, that's surprising because I love the baseball scene, but I know when Adelaide was talking about it a lot, it was mainly a lot of the same things. It's fun and campy. It's a scene you look forward to, everything, the slight vampiric aspects to it. But it never felt like we really went beyond that. And when Alex talked about his scene, I think he took some of Adelaide's pushbacks and he turned those into strengths because, the desire to read Bella's mind, it's about control, not out of love. And him saying that Bella actually meant that as a gift, where they truly, she truly gave herself to him. I think that was a really good way of twisting it around, and it really did make me see that scene differently. And talking just about like the silent moments together, not revolved around talking and like the time together. I think really painted a good picture about how this is really the culmination of a relationship and a franchise, in a way that I think it just came across a little bit stronger. I mean, the baseball scene was close, but I think Alex was able to paint the picture for me about why you would look forward to this scene more than the baseball scene as far as Twilight goes.
All right. Awesome. Alex gets the first point. We are going to move on to the next question, which was drafted by Adelaide. In the category of musicals, your question is, what is the most romantic scene in a musical? Spence, you drafted it. You're going first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
I picked a scene from The Sound of Music. It is where the Von Trapp family is basically hosting this big gala, this big party or whatever, and Maria is teaching the young kids how to dance, and because they're like, I don't know how to do this, is for the adults or whatever, and she's dancing with one of the kids, and then Georg comes over and is like, hey, let me dance with her, and it is this bonding moment that everything building up to this has been Georg like refusing his kids to learn about music or to sing or to do anything, because that was something that he held very close with his wife. So then once she died, he kind of lost all desire to even hear it or to have his family embrace it. And then slowly, as Maria's spending time with them, wearing him down, They learn to love music again. He sings and it's beautiful. And this is the moment where it's no longer, oh, this is like a very nice countess. The way that he looks at her and dances with her is him embracing the music of his past love to his current love. And the way that she looks at him with the classic, soft, beautiful Hollywood lighting, it is heartbreaking and heart melting and so, so romantic.
Time. Okay. We're going to move over to Alex. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Nobody gets famous. Collectively, among us all here in the crowd, we can name hundreds of famous people without thinking, and yet we know that nobody gets famous. All of us at some point have pretended to see our name in lights. That we were famous, that we were in the movies or TV shows or the music that we love, even though that we all know that nobody gets famous. In the opening of La La Land, hundreds of people ruminate on this eternal quest. This very basic idea that while it is a long shot, maybe they could do it. It's awfully romantic, isn't it? I, personally, see no difference between that and kissing someone you've loved for years before they leave, potentially forever. Spontaneously breaking out into I will always love you. Or even letting your family pass go and running away after exactly 2 meetings together. Another Day of Sun is the chase, the seeking of the kiss, and the hope that this too can work out. The most romantic scene in any musical.
All right. We are going to bring in Adelaide, and we are going to get started 5 minutes when one of you starts talking.
I love La La Land. I'm not going to try and hide that. But I think what you're arguing is such a self-handicap that you have literally no connection to these characters, that the idea of romance doesn't really exist. If you're looking at the context of the scene, it's a bunch of theater kids embracing LA traffic, bumper to bumper, covering a whole fucking freeway that are just kind of singing their desires. I don't think romance is good. I think the choreography is good. I think like the lyrics are good. But when it comes down to it, romance is not the applicable term, I don't think you also like romance towards fame just seems like a really strange concept to me when you break down like the downsides of it and everything. I don't think it works.
Well, I guess it really depends on what our definition of romantic is, I suppose. To me, it is a suggestive or an idealized view of reality.
Is it Merriam-Webster?
Maybe. But to kind of expand on that, these people will never make it. None of these characters are ever really seen again in the rest of the movie because they don't get famous. And yet, they're all going to work. They're all going to go try. They're all going to go and pursue this passion. And that is no different from pursuing any other passion that you might want, someone that you're interested in, a career, a hobby, this dream of love. The love that they want to put out into the world, the love that they show, is pretty much the same. It is not less romantic to chase your dream than it is to have a dance with someone.
But I think if we're sitting here debating, I think what you're arguing is such an abstract concept that when you're sitting down, your first thought isn't romance. Like, yes, I took a very literal perspective on this, but I think that what you're going for is not something you feel watching the movie. I think that when you're explaining it, I kind of get what you're saying. But when you're sitting there and taking it all in, like, oh yeah, this is fun. There's no deeper thought to it. I think that when you're sitting with The Sound of Music and Gay or Maria's romance, I think that the depth to it is what makes it interesting. I think that this scene is the pinnacle of their love. One of the best love stories in a musical, period. I think that like when you dig into it, it gets better. La La Land, there's not the digging. You're adding outside contact to try and make your argument work, and I think it just doesn't quite click.
But it does work both ways. If I add outside context or not, La La Land is about the chase of pursuing your passion, which is what the scene is about, regardless of context. I shudder at the thought that all love, anywhere, always is going to look like Maria and Captain Von Trapp. I shudder at the thought because when I fall in love, that's not what it looks like. But when I pursue this passion, it looks a lot like when I'm driving and I get stuck in traffic. It does feel like that when I am running through my thoughts of how I got here, what I gave up to pursue the things that I love. To me, that is romantic. That is as romantic as I can possibly get.
I mean, if we're gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, this isn't my idea of romance," I just spent the last question shitting on Bella and Edward, and it didn't earn me any points. I think that we're gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, this isn't what I want. This isn't how I would love." That doesn't fucking matter according to the scoreboard. If we're gonna sit there and look at the fact, like again, why did Georg not end up marrying the Baroness Schrader? It's because she didn't care about his kids. His kids mean everything to him. Maria loves his kids, practically like her own. She reminds him of his old wife. She reconnects him with music. The whole character of Georg, everything that matters to him in his life, she fulfills that. She reminds him of why he wants to be alive. It is a beautiful romance.
And with all that, he can bring himself absolutely no closer to her than he already has. During this supposedly very intimate scene, he does not make an effort to pull her any closer than is allowed. He does not make an effort. He looks at her longingly for 0.3 seconds. And that can be romantic in its own way. It's certainly romantic enough that somebody else noticed it, but not something that Maria herself was like, oh, this is happening. And I guess also a huge problem is this scene is not a musical scene like at all. It's just a dance.
That's not how the question works. But like, if you're saying that longing isn't like a genuine romantic feeling, have you tried yearning? Yearning is a powerful feeling. Because the way that they look at each other is this desperation of, I want to kiss you. I want you. I need you. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. And they can't follow through on that. And that's what makes it so strong.
Time. Okay. We are going to start with Alex on this one. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
While the dance is a classic moment of cinema, it's not a musical moment. It's a dance. Another Day of Sun is a masterclass in modern musical filmmaking. It's not just a song. It's a thesis statement for the whole movie. It uses ambitious cinematography, a full cast of characters that you purposefully never see again, and a complex emotional tone to do something that the dance never attempts. It creates an entire world and introduces the themes of the movie in just a few minutes. It's stunning, emotionally rich, and flawless opening that truly sets it apart as a superior musical scene. It is heartbreak and hope, excitement and tragedy, all the stories of the people brave enough to seek out the lights, and so many more besides. As the film puts it later on, this is the dream. It's conflict, it's compromise, and it's very, very exciting. Another Day of Sun, the most romantic scene in any musical. And I'll yield that time.
Okay. We're going to move over to Spence. Spence, you have 1 minute to close your argument when you start talking.
If we want to break down romance, Alex is taking a very broad definition to it, where I am going literal. I'm going, how are these two characters falling in love? You can see it. There's a whole scene around this. There's a whole movie around this, why this scene works. But if you break it down simply, looking at the characters as they are, you see it in their eyes, the way that Georg looks at Maria. He sees his wife. He sees somebody he wants to spend the rest of his life with. He sees the love of his kids, how they love her. When you see Maria look at him, she breaks a little when she realizes that she is kind of unfulfilled the promise to the family of she came there for the kids, but now she's fallen in love with the father and is totally lost, but is head over heels in love with him. It is beautiful the way that they dance, the way that they hold each other, the way that music plays into the relationship. It is both romantic and incredibly necessary to the context of a musical. It perfectly fits this question and both genres it fulfills. I think the opening scene of La La Land is very good, but the idea of romance that Alex is trying to pitch, I don't think worked within the context of the film itself.
Okay. We're going to bring in the judges. So, Alex, that's what you meant when you said you got some off-the-wall arguments.
Yeah, sure. That's what I meant.
Oh, boy. Oh, great. Well, whoo!
Just like a regular 2-liter bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jack Honey. Beautiful.
Hell yeah.
I can't drink that anymore, though. It's too sweet.
That's probably fair.
You can just change this vote to Alex real quick.
I just drink my Captain Morgan like it's water and call it a day.
I drink water like it's water.
I mean, I also do that, but that's like before 8 p.m.
Fair enough. I don't drink, so
That's also fair. All right. Tyler, are you still working?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We are going to start with Tyler then on this one.
Okay. Less pressure. Good. I like it. So, preface this with an unsurprising, haven't seen either of them. So, that was an interesting experience.
Wow.
I don't watch musical. We're not doing this right now. But I thought they both had really interesting arguments. I think Alex's approach about the ideas of reality and the pursuit of passion, I thought that was very interesting because that isn't what you would think of romance, but he laid it out really well. He conveyed this story about La La Land that was more interesting than I've heard about La La Land so far. So he succeeded there at least. But I ended up going with Adelaide on this one. I think they just really set up the scene well and how everything pays off. I really enjoyed how they conveyed, the use of the eyes to convey the romance. I really enjoyed even the description of the yearning, because a lot of romance doesn't just have to do with kissing or anything or actual intimacy. A lot of it is just those feelings of intimacy. So I think that really played really a lot better than I think it was supposed to. But I think it just old-fashioned romance did a great job on it. Talked about their kids, how the kids mean the most to him, and when Maria really likes or really helps out with the kids, that really meant a lot to him. I hope I conveyed my reasoning well, since I don't know this movie very well, but that's why I went with Adelaide.
You basically took the words out of my mouth. I went with Adelaide. Listen, I think Alex did a great job. When they started talking, when Alex started talking, I was like, oh, this is what he's doing. And I liked what he did. I actually, I bought into his argument, the way that he had it put out. I think, though, it comes to no shock that Adelaide just kind of painted the more broad picture, or the, I guess you could say, narrow picture of what romance is, and did it really, really well. I think Alex earns some kudos points for trying something different, and also kind of making me think about it, of being like, wow, what he's saying is very interesting, and those are we thinking about romance in a different way? But I think at the end of the day, Adelaide just overall just knocked it out for me. So Javi, your thoughts?
Clean sweep. I went with Spence Dog. I think I just didn't. I like what Alex was trying to do, but I just didn't buy it as this is what romance is. All right, well, if we're gonna strip it down to its most it's action. Well, there's they're acting, aren't they? That's action in a way. It's but it's not really what we're when you say romance, there's a very specific thing we're going for, and I think it's an interesting strategy to go for it. But I think Spence, I love both these movies too, by the way, and I think you're right that there's a romance to what's going on. Yeah. But I just painting the picture of, I got to start taking a shot every time I say paint a picture in this. But even though I don't drink, and we established that earlier. But Spence just really was able to explain the intimacy, the feeling that's going on in that scene in Sound of Music, between Maria and Captain Von Trapp. So, Spence.
Is his name really Georg?
That's what I was confused.
Georg Von Trapp is his legal name. They just cut off the E, and now it's Austrian.
It's been so long, but I directed that show when I was a freshman in high school, and you would think I would remember that his name was Georg.
Captain is better.
Do they say it in the movie?
Yes.
I would assume.
I've seen that movie a lot, and I don't remember.
It's passing. They mostly call him the captain or Mr. Von Trapp, but no, he is He is Georg.
I love it.
Man
Okay.
named Georg. I'll tell you that on the record.
I believe you. I
Yeah,
don't remember it.
love it. All right, we're moving on. We're tied up 1-1. Next categories in the that was drafted by Alex. Category is actors and actresses. Question is, which character played by Hugh Grant is the best? This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to start with Alex. You got 1 minute when you start talking.
Hugh Grant is the worst. He's a man so utterly unenthused with his own career that he developed a name for this rom-com part of it that made him famous, Mr. Stuttery Blinky. He felt like he was put into this box, but among a sea of hatred and self-loathing, he got one chance to self-reflect and truly act. Music and lyrics. The story is about an aging pop star named Alex Fletcher that needs to come back. And besides just being a simply classic piano, song, and dance performance, the movie requires him, as his character, to be happy with his work. We saw the Wonka press tour. Hugh Grant hates his work normally, but in music and lyrics, he's handsome, he's charming, he's content with his place in the world as a musician and as a sex symbol for a specific demographic of women. But he also needs money to live, and he has to work again before he loses it all. It's the most Hugh Grant ever poured into a role, and also his best.
Oh my God. We all saw the Wonka tour, he says. Also, you drafted this. What the fuck? All right, Spence, we're going to go to you 1 minute when you start talking.
Let me tell you why Mr. Reed in Heretic is the best Hugh Grant character. I'm balancing both best performance and best written. I think Hugh Grant fully commits himself to, and how the screenplay structures him, someone who on the first watch, or as you're going through the movie, sounds really smart. The way that he's breaking down a really challenging religion is interesting, and you're there with him, and you're like, yeah, what if? And as the movie goes on, you realize the way that he holds himself and his condescending tone towards every character in the movie, he's really stupid. He thinks he's smarter than you. He thinks he's better than you. But at the end of the day, he's just some fucking Reddit incel atheist who just wants to seem smart. I think that is incredibly interesting, but also a really thoroughly layered character. He fully believes his own arguments. His Monopoly scene where he's trying to break down why every religion is just kind of the same thing is interesting. And then 5 minutes later, he's kind of like half-assing a Jar Jar Binks impression. He's never fucking seen Star Wars. That is smart and funny.
Low-key, both of these movies are pretty good. Okay, so 5 minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Oh, I love you. So I think my favorite thing about Hugh Grant is that he is sincere in his hatred of everything that he does. But there is one moment that I think has captured my attention since I first saw it when the movie just came out. And it is him sitting at breakfast with Drew Barrymore. And he is saying that nothing in the world makes you feel as good, as fast, as I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. He believes that. He believes in the power of music, in the power of his music. And that belief that permeates his entire character throughout the entirety of that movie is more to go on than anything that happens in Heretic. Given that from the second you see him in Heretic, you could not possibly believe anything this guy says.
I disagree. I think that the whole nature of his performance, I think it's like, it's cozy, it's welcoming. That's his whole introduction of like, yeah, you can trust him. He's like a little kooky, but so are the two sisters that we're following. Like they're kind of matching each other's energy. I think what kind of like cinches the performance, what changes the movie from, oh yeah, I guess it's all right, to like you are locked in on Hugh Grant specifically, is he phrases something as religion is just believing what you are told. And the whole scene basically leading up to that confrontation is him telling the two sisters, oh yeah, my wife's here. Oh, she's upstairs. Oh, she's busy, whatever. And then the second they say, I want to see your wife, he says, if you truly believe in God, you'll believe anything that's told to you. Do you believe that my life is home? That is thorough. It is thoroughly thought through. I think like he is approaching the characters and his own beliefs as I am 100% right and I am the gospel, I am the truth. I am here to convert people.
But
you see,
okay. But I'll say, how about this? Speeches are not a performance. Just monologuing is not a character. And from the second that you open the door, from the second any character opens that front door, anyone that meets him instantly doesn't trust him. From the time that the two sisters meet him to the time that Elder Kennedy meets him, every single person that knocks on his door is like, oh, this guy is full of shit. So the idea that like halfway through the movie you're like, oh no, this guy's full of shit, it's just not real. I agree that he approaches life with a 7th grade education of Bible theory, but again, his monologues on that do nothing for the characters. They do nothing to inform you really anything about him besides the fact that he is kind of a lunatic a little bit, but it's still quintessentially Hugh Grant going, yes. It's still Mr. Stuttery Blinky. It's just they put him in a slightly tighter, darker mood lighting.
I think 80% of his character in this movie is thrusting while he's singing. Like that's legitimately
in music
all he's
and
really
lyrics.
doing. Yes, 100%. What we literally watched this together, and you saw him just whole.
But what is he doing when he's doing that? He is keying into his demographic. He is performing for the frankly insane amount of droves of women that drove wine moms that come to see him perform. But they wanted that. That's what they wanted. He is charming a family of people that he just met. He's teaching little kids dance moves from the 80s. That's cute. He has no reason to do that while playing a really bad Redux version of DDR. He's just doing that because, like I said, he's just making music for Cora Corman just because, like,
he wants money.
He wants money, but he wants it to be good. He knows that when he's working with Greg the Angel of Death, he knows that what Greg the Angel of Death is proposing is simply insane, which is why when he gets a better idea, he's immediately like, that's so much better. What are we doing? Yeah, we'll go with that.
I think the problem is like I think a really like we're talking about like him performing these songs. I think it's very helpful like as like the index for the glossary, whatever word I'm looking for. Because the whole vibe of him performing as a member of Pop is him coasting. He's playing the hits. He's doing everything you're wanting him to. Here's the big song. Here's the encore. That is what Hugh Grant is doing in the movie. He is coasting. He is hitting the beats you were asking him to. And he's like, oh, yeah, here's like a fun, I'll play DDR. There is nothing that challenges him. The writing is bland and surface level. The performance is bland and surface level.
Everything about the performance challenges him. He has to be genuine when being the least genuine person in the world. He has to be enthusiastic about something that you know for a fact that he would hate.
He's playing himself.
Okay. Let's go to Spence first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Here's a list of movies where Hugh Grant gives the exact same performance as he does in music and lyrics. Love Actually, Notting Hill, Mickey Blue Eyes, 9 Months, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Maurice, Glass Onion, About a Boy, 2 Weeks Notice. That's 9 fucking movies that Alex could have picked that fit the exact same criteria as the movie he did pick. It is uninteresting. If we're going for a best Hugh Grant performance, what stands out? It is not the best of mediocrity. It is him fully committing himself to a truly terrifying character who is written to be both smart and dumb, who is incredibly menacing, who one scene can literally kill someone in cold blood because he believed that her inner arm, not IUD, there's a word for it, I'm forgetting, is like a sign that she's controlled by the government or some stupid shit. And at the same time, does genuinely believe that he found the next religion, a woman who can consistently die and come back to life, and the trickery. And he speaks things creep in an incredibly convincing way. It is a thoroughly thought-through performance. The performance in his eyes, it is incredible.
All right. We are going to go over to Alex. Alex, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
So while Heretic showed us a darker side of Hugh Grant, it's still Mr. Stuttery Blinky, just in a Mr. Rogers sweater, while music and lyrics is the full spectrum. Heretic's long speeches are not a performance. And because you know he doesn't really believe it all from the beginning, it just feels more hollow. He doesn't fool you. You and everyone else in the movie are onto him the second they meet him. Music and lyrics is the performance that shows off his strengths as a leading man, his charm, likability, chemistry, as well as his stage presence during music scenes. He takes a familiar slice of his persona and gives it complexity, vulnerability, and real actual genuine human heart. He doesn't need to rely on that cynicism because for once the world is actually rallying around him in a way that is purely positive. It's the perfect blend of Hugh Grant and the one we want to love.
Time. Okay, I'm gonna bring in the judges.
Nexplanon. That's the word of the inner arm IUD. Like you can get something inserted into your arm that works as a contraceptive like an IUD would.
Neat. I was so confused for that scene.
You need to eat. What the fuck? Yeah, there. Eat dinner.
All right, I'm ready. Where are you guys at?
I think I'm ready.
All right, we're starting with Javi.
Yeah, this one was good. I'm in the same position that Tyler was in this time, where I haven't seen any of them. And Spence was right. We were talking about it before, and Spence was like, "But you haven't seen any of them." Correct. Yeah, it came down to a lot of like which time is Hugh Grant being different, which is to me is much more of a performance question, much less than a character question, I guess, because it was more like, well, this is a different side of Hugh Grant that we've seen before, which I guess, it goes hand in hand to a degree, right? Like character performance. Where does one begin? Where does one end? Whoa. I think Alex convinced me more of why that he's not Mr. Stuttery Blinky, as he says. I can't really speak to it. Again, I haven't seen both, but I think the way Alex was able to portray it was, yeah, he's still Hugh Grant, even though like the facade of him being this uberly I'm smarter than you kind of guy just doesn't, especially apparently we're told in the beginning like that's really not who he is. And Spence's attack of, well, here's 9 other Hugh Grant characters that are kind of the same. I have seen some of those, and like, I don't know, he's in it for like 2 seconds in Glass Onion, so I don't think you can really make that. I'm not. That was just something I thought of as a joke, because like, I don't think you can make any judgment about that character in that movie. But yeah, that's what I got.
Tyler.
Yeah, this one was very close for me. I've seen one of them, so I'm better than Javi. But and I discovered that the other one existed just earlier this week when my family was watching it. So, but I thought it was very interesting hearing about it. The thing that I know performance is a big deal, but we kept pounding on the performance, and it's, at least the way I read the question, it's more just about the character, not as much about the performance in this one. Like obviously performance feeds into that, but so I thought it was really interesting the different points that they had. I did end up going with Alex on this one. I thought the way that he set up who Hugh Grant is in the opening was really strong. It told me exactly what to expect from this actor. And then just how he laid out what music and lyrics is and what this character is really aligned with who Hugh Grant is. And he said that this is, he really showed how like the strength of the performance is because of it aligns so much with, or like the strength of the character is because it's Hugh Grant playing this. Adelaide had a lot good points laying out, who Mr. Reed is, but couldn't really get away from the fact that at the very beginning, everybody had kind of already seen through the character, and so even though his character was bouncing around a lot, it just felt really fake, and it kind of took away from it. So it felt like, for me at least, it came down to Alex just convinced me that Alex Fletcher is more of an authentic character over Mr. Reed.
Okay, my vote doesn't count, but I also went with Alex. This was very close for me. Tyler, Javi mentioned it a little bit. Tyler kind of hit it on the head of, yeah, we spent a lot of time on performance. Timmy, no likey. We're talking about character. And sorry, Alex, I'm sorry if I just hurt you there by saying that. Yeah, no, I was kind of going, I was thinking a lot about what they said about the character. And Spence's character is very interesting, but I think they kind of did themselves a disservice by saying that a lot of the facade of the character is BS, and the character isn't as smart as he thinks he is. I thought Alex, lesser known character, at least by today's standards, because the movie's older and Heretic just came out, but gave me a lot about the character, why it's an interesting character and a good character and a positive character, and the different stuff, and it gave me tons of examples of stuff that they do in the movie that's positive and impact. So I went with Alex, but we're moving on to the final question. Spence needs to hit this in order to send it to the bonus. So it is in the category of Fight Night. The question is, what is the best performance in a Rocky or Creed film? Spence, you drafted this. You get to go first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
I think the magic of the first Creed film relies heavily on Michael B. Jordan's performance. I think the way that not only he holds himself, but even just in his tone of voice, I think you're able to fully conceptualize the history of the character. You could cut out the first 10 minutes of the movie and get no explanation of who he is, and you know exactly what he went through as a child and growing up, simply because of the way that he holds himself and the way that he speaks, the way that he shadowboxes his father in the footage of the first Rocky and Creed fight, the way that he has to shout to Rocky to prove that he's not a mistake to win the final fight. It is incredible. The way that he holds himself in the boxing scenes. I think there's no other performance in the franchise which is so deftly able to balance acting and fighting. The way that he holds himself kind of scared, but wanting to prove himself in the way that he protects himself, the way that he throws his punches, everything is so thought through. It is a fully realized character that Michael B. Jordan picks up and runs with in an incredible performance.
Time. Okay, we're going to move over to Alex. Alex, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
Creed was huge for Michael B. Jordan, his big attempt to lead a movie franchise, but it wasn't until Creed 2 that you knew that this was a real leading man. He takes the center stage as the full face of this new franchise, separating himself from Stallone and taking the reins as its leading man actually. It was the movie that required more from him than just simply being Apollo's son or Rocky light-skinned. Those were still a part of him, but they were not the center of his identity. It was his hunger, his desire, his need for revenge that take the center stage as he redesigns, rebuilds, and reclaims his own legacy. He takes the Rocky foundation from Creed and builds upon it, adding not only more positive traits, but also more negative traits as his family's past and his new family's future crash together like only a fist fight can deliver. It is a more well-rounded performance, and I would say the best of his career.
Time. Oh man, these movies are so fucking good. Okay, we're gonna go 5 minute free form when one of you starts.
I think that your pitch of growth between movies doesn't work. I think Creed 2 is his worst of the trilogy. I think Creed 2 and Creed 3 are a connected character. I think Creed 3 puts above this because you can see the growth from within. I think he's an entirely different person in the second film. I don't see the fear of the child within him. That is a core belief in the character of Adonis, and it's entirely shit. And I don't think it really works with the script. The script in Creed 2 asks him to bury his emotions, and I don't think he hides that inner conflict well. I think that is a big issue why the film isn't as emotionally resonant as the first. You see what he's feeling, and you feel it with him in the first film, and that entirely relies on his performance.
I would actually go completely the other way on that. He's not trying to hide it at all. He's not trying to bury down his emotions at all. In fact, I think it's arguably the most emotional performance out of the three movies. It is a performance that it is a performance that the character doesn't understand. He thinks this is about his father at first. He wants to do this, he wants to do that, he wants to do this. I agree. This is not about him being a small child. That's not what it's about. It's confirmed by characters in the movie. Hey, this is not about your dad. This is not about you growing up without knowing your father. This is because you got embarrassed by a big guy and now you want to do something about it. That's fine. Go do something about it, but do not pretend that this is about Apollo. Be your own person. And he does stand up to that challenge.
But then you're entirely disregarding the first 30 minutes in the movie where he is still not the same character from the first movie. I think,
what
like,
does that matter?
He
at this
you
point,
are disregarding
he is the
a third of
heavyweight
your movie.
champion of the world. He is the heavyweight champion of the world. He should be taking on all comers. It's a big part of boxing culture that you have to take on whoever the commission puts out in front of you. He accepted a fight, and he should not have because he got his clock cleaned.
I think another big issue with the second Creed film is you're not really drawn to the character of Adonis. I think that there are much more interesting characters and better performed characters around him. I think Tessa Thompson, Sylvester Stallone, and Phylicia Rashad specifically run circles around him. I think that they are more fully invested in the characters, and this is just kind of Jordan coasting. It's like, I did the first movie, I can do this. The first movie, I think every little scene you see in his eyes, the way that he holds himself, he knows who he is. Like, my favorite scene in the first movie, or one of my favorite scenes in the first movie, is right before his fight with Leo Sparino. He begs Rock to cut off his gloves because he needs to shit. And the specific word that he says is, somebody gonna wipe my ass for me? And, like, it's funny, but there's also just an inherent sense of fear. He's not ready to take on the weight of everything. He knows exactly who the character is. He knows exactly where the character is in that exact moment. Like, Creed 2, the whole thing, like him in the hospital and him dealing with the birth of his daughter, is him bearing emotions. He gets mad at Bianca because he has to feel something. I get that in the script. His performance is not lending itself to that.
He has been burying his emotions, and he gets full script from everyone in his life to go and feel all of those emotions in a helpful and smart tactical way to win a fight. I will say that your point about Adonis knowing who he is somewhat undercut by the fact that he does have to call his mom and be like, "Hey, Mom, they want to use the other name. Can I please? What do you think? Should I be me or should I be that?" Like, he functionally doesn't know who he is. He knows who he would like to be. He knows how people see him. He's very concerned about that, but he doesn't really even necessarily mind when people find out. He's more concerned about Tessa Thompson's appearance. In fact, I will even say,
he literally gets like the head of the
nobody. He calls nobody about the fact that they leaked his real name. That the Leo's father is never seen again. Meanwhile, he's chasing Tessa Thompson in the street, like we all would. But he's chasing Tessa Thompson in the street. And this whole point about him coasting, he was coasting in the first one because Stallone got all of the attention in the first movie. Everyone left the first Creed thinking, you know what? This Stallone guy, this guy can really act. The guy from
That's
the Expendables.
Oscars. We're not talking about the fucking Oscars. No one cares.
No, I mean everyone left. I didn't
thing.
say Oscars. You said Oscars. People left the first Creed thinking, you know, this Stallone guy, the guy from the Expendables, can still act. And Tessa Thompson's great. That's what people left. It wasn't until Creed 2 people were like, actually, this guy's kind of right.
I think the conflict about the last name is, like, it's shown when he's fighting the head of the event that Bianca's playing at, and he gets real mad when he fucking.
Okay. Alex, you are starting first. You get 1 minute when you start talking.
Creed is a great demo reel for Michael B. Jordan's body and commitment to transforming himself for a role, but it is not the well-rounded performance my opponent would have you believe it is. It shows you nothing more than That Awkward Moment, Chronicle, or Black Panther could give you. Meanwhile, in Creed 2, he offers you a full range of human experience. What does it mean when your body gives up? How do you earn a man's respect? And how do you earn back the respect that you had for yourself after you failed? These are the questions that Adonis struggles with, while only a few years before he was worried about how he was going to take his gloves off in time to take a dump before a fight. Now, acting as and performing as the star of this franchise, he gets to have those little significant moments he couldn't have before because Stallone needed help getting to the bathroom to throw up. I would never say he's bad in Creed, but it simply isn't the meal that Creed 2 was.
Time. All right. We're going to move over to Spence. Spence, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
If we are talking about quality of scenes, I think the first film has big moments and small moments. I already mentioned I got to prove I'm not a mistake. Again, I think that the way that he blows up about needing to take a shit is genuinely funny, and also you believe a lot of that fear. But even things that you don't even think about, there are two separate one-take fight scenes in the first Creed film that he needs to both box, incredibly complicated choreography, and the genuine fear of I need to win and I need to prove I'm not a mistake. I need to prove that I'm more than my name and my father and my legacy and everything. That is there within his performance. Alex is arguing the script. Everything that he's leaning into is just like, oh, well, the script says this. No, I think you can do like a Mad Max Fury Road. No fucking dialogue. Just like cut everything out. If you were just watching the performance, Jordan in the first film tells you everything you need to hear. Even if Stallone is the star, the entire time you are feeling the emotions Jordan is feeling within that first film. You are there and you are scared with him. You are fighting his own father side by side with him.
Time. Okay, good stuff. Let's bring in the judges. You know, I was thinking recently I needed to rewatch Creed 3 because I haven't seen it since it came out, but I might rewatch the whole trilogy just to fuck around and find out.
Whole trilogy, just in general again. You're killing me with the same actor, by the way. That sucks.
You know what? You weren't here for Jackie Robinson. You can't say shit. It's been so.
No, I'm not mad at it. I know. I get it.
That was like 2 years ago now.
Meaty Bar put 2. Book it. They got to run it back.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. I'm ready. You guys let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Avi, you good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good shit. No pun intended. He's good. He's great. Michael B. Jordan's a star. Have you seen Sinners? My God. The dude can act. And I think what it came down to for me was Spence kind of convinced me more on the emotional, you're really with him the whole time in the first one. I think Alex did a good job of kind of explaining, like, well, no, like in the second one, like he has so much more to do because he's not playing second fiddle to Stallone and Thompson. But I think Spence did a good job of kind of going through and saying why Jordan's performance in the first one just kind of outweighed what he was doing, both from a physical sense and specifically the performance coming through, and not just what the script was telling him. I thought was a really good point. I think Spence took the lessons they learned in the last fight and used them well. Alex did great too. Both are great performances. Michael B. Jordan, call me. Javi, thoughts?
Yeah, good. Ironically, I think you guys talked about the characters more this time than the last time. But I guess. It was good. It helps me, especially if I've seen the movie, to be like, yeah, the character actor dynamic helps me a little bit more if I've seen the movie, obviously. So, you know, when you're like, when he does this thing, you really feel it. I'm like, yep, for sure. No doubt. I went with Alex. I think Alex gave me a better idea of. I think what really hit me was when Alex was like, Michael B. Jordan not only carries it on his own more as an actor, not just because he's not playing second fiddle to Stallone anymore, but in the first one, it's much more about like, who am I? Who am I supposed to be? Mom, they went with this name. Should I change it? What's going on? Whereas this one, he's carrying the movie more as like, I am my own person, and I'm not just little Apollo Creed. I am my own character, and watch me grow as a character through my performance. I thought that was a really smart way to attack it. I think the beginning.
Oh,
I think that he's voting for me. Were his next words?
we'll wait and see if he comes back. I'm gonna mute his mic just in case he. Well, I can't even mute his mic. He's gone. Tyler, let's move over to you. You're deciding this one. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought this one was pretty good. They did a lot of back and forth during the 5-minute open debate that I think was a lot of, like boxing, a lot of trading blows. But I know that they talked about the performances that surround them. They kind of canceled that out on each other, in my opinion, just because they kept talking about every other person having a better performance. And it became, well, other people's better performances are better in mine than your better performances in yours. And so that didn't do a whole lot for me. It really it really came down to me. It came down to openings and closings. And honestly, I went with Adelaide on this one. I think Adelaide did a great job of really telling me about the physical performance of Michael B. Jordan. And that's what really won me over. The way that Adelaide described, even starting out with the tone of voice, when he's speaking in Creed, doing things like his fighting stance, how he wants to prove himself, but he's also scared, and it's conveyed through the way that he holds himself while he fights. The call and like the shitting part, like that could have been bad, but then Adelaide spun it around to say, well, there's in that performance, it is meant to be funny, but you can also feel the fear that Michael B. Jordan is feeling. So that helped take away a little bit from that attack. And so it was enough for me to go along with Adelaide for the pick, but I think both of them did a really good job on this one.
All right, we're going to move on to the bonus question. Here's how this is going to work. I have randomized whether this is going to come from fandom or general movies, and then I randomized the remaining categories that weren't picked in the main round. So I'm going to say the question. Then I'm going to repeat the question a second time. Once I have said the question for the second time, you may answer. Whoever says their answer first will be going first. You will each get 45 seconds, and then you will each get 30 seconds. Any questions from the competitors?
Nope.
The question will be in the private chat for you to look at. I'm sorry. The side of Fanzone that was drafted was fandom.
It's a James Bond.
The category was horror icons.
Oh, okay.
But I think we can have some fun. We talked a lot about the best. Let's talk about the worst. What is the worst horror icons film? Again, what is the worst horror icons film?
I will go with Friday the 13th, Part 5, New Beginning.
All right. Definitely in the running.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yeah, these are the picks, guys. All right. So take out the judges. I'm going to stay on screen for this. Adelaide, you spoke first, so you're going first. You got 45 seconds on the clock when you start talking.
horror icons movies are bad. Let's get on the same page here. I think what makes them bad is the fact that you don't connect to any of the characters. The kills are boring, and you really just don't want to be there. I think A New Beginning is the peak of the franchise in terms of how poorly that's handled. You don't connect to any of the characters. You don't know any of their fucking names. You don't know any characteristics about them. And the worst of it all, you came there to see Jason Voorhees hack some horny fucking teenagers. It's not even him. It's just some random ass dude who like kind of wants a copycat kill. It is a poor film, both in thought and execution. Literally nothing of it works. I get why Halloween 2 is like considered bad. At the same time, it has some of the best kills in the franchise. One of the more interesting portrayals of Jason as this true embodiment of evil. Nothing in A New Beginning is that inspired.
Time. All right, Alex, 45 seconds.
Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is, quite frankly, one of the most unfinishable movies ever made. Not only can you not see most of what happens, with the few things that you can actually see that do happen aren't really happening unless maybe they are. It is a movie that is so thoroughly unpleasant to watch that, frankly, I wouldn't blame you if you never rated on Letterboxd. I certainly never did. It is a movie that is the very worst of all of the impulses that Rob Zombie has. And he has many horrible impulses that he pulled from the rest of the franchise, taking all of the worst of the franchise and putting it into exactly one movie. He decided that nothing cared and nobody mattered.
Time. Adelaide, you have 30 seconds.
What Halloween 2 was able to accomplish, even though it is gut-wrenching and disgusting, is genuinely horrifying visuals. The kills are gnarly. The gore is brutal. I think you feel something watching the movie. Even if you don't like it, you still feel something. I would rather feel really negative than be entirely apathetic. A New Beginning is genuinely boring and uninteresting with bad kills. Halloween 2, at the very least, you could connect to the kills. If we're coming to horror icons for murder, Halloween 2 has better murder.
Time. Alex, 30 seconds.
A New Beginning at least delivers on its very premise. You do get what is essentially Jason, guy in a mask, running around, killing teenagers, young adults. That is the very premise of all of the Friday the 13th movies, no matter which one you decide to pick up and watch. That is what that franchise is about. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 takes elements of all of the other ones and decides, I'm going to throw them in a blender and add as much dark ink as possible. Do you like drugs? Here, have some more.
Time. Okay, good shit, guys. All right, let's bring in the judges. Whoa. Okay.
So we're doing drugs in the channel? Is that what we're doing now? Are you going to
No.
share?
Not anymore.
Every time I miss a question, I just take a bong rip. Me v you, Alex. Let's go.
Iron Man challenge.
All right, I'm ready when you guys are ready. Javi looks ready.
I'm ready.
Tyler, you're kicking this one off.
Okay. I thought they both chose bad ones, so which is good for this debate. So that was a good start. Adelaide laid out a very boring, dull movie that is just a big question mark. Alex put out a movie or showed a movie that is just, what is this mess? I don't know if he meant to say nothing cared, nobody mattered, because it sounded like it was jumbled around, but I think it works in the argument. I think Spence bringing up the kills did show a little bit about Halloween 2 and as a positive. But at the end of the day, I did go with Alex on this one. Just because saying like Rob Zombie's worst impulses and just the worst bits of a Halloween movie, Half of It Being a Dream, he was able to evoke more specific examples about why this is the worst in, directing movie, pretty much all aspects of it. Adelaide, I think, just suffered from the fact that there wasn't a whole lot other than not Jason Voorhees, and that it's just an apathetic movie. There wasn't a whole lot there that they added.
All right, here's the thing. I love Michael Myers, but I hate hate Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And I love Rob Zombie's Halloween 1, which is weird. I have a soft spot for that movie. The nostalgia glasses are definitely over. But I went with Adelaide. And here's Adelaide did something that I enjoy in these speed rounds. They thought about their movies at hand, and they hit points in both times able to speak. Not that it's necessary to win, but Adelaide was able to give more about both movies. Alex spent a lot of time talking about why Halloween 2 is really, really bad, and everything he said is accurate, but Adelaide gave a lot more offense to why Halloween 2 is good, and it adds up. It kind of makes sense. Adelaide pretty much perfectly pinpointed everything that's actually semi-decent about that movie. The kills being gnarly, Michael being the embodiment of evil. Like, Spence made me go, maybe some of no, wait, it's actually bad. So if Adelaide was able to do that, they kind of get my point. Again, Alex did a good job of saying why Halloween 2 is terrible, but his only defense of Friday the 13th Part 5 was like, yeah, it's got a Jason-like character who kills teenagers. That's in all of them. Okay, that doesn't make it like better than the worst. So, like, what else about it? And I thought Spence gave me things that are objectively okay about Halloween 2, which is hard to do because the movie's shit. But anyway, and honestly, nobody brought up the white horse. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's atrocious. Okay, Javi, you get to decide the match. And you're muted, which is perfect for this. Great.
Classic. I'm having all sorts of fun today with the screen and the microphone. Good job. I don't like being in this situation. Not only deciding the vote, but deciding the game. This is weird. I hold all the power in this little black board.
That's true.
Never flip your board. We just end right now. Tie game.
Watch me cut out again. That'll be awesome. At the opening arguments, I was going one way, and then in the second arguments, I was switched entirely. Spence.
Yeah.
Lost. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Alex's opening was so strong on like, you don't understand. No one understands anything that's happening. Like, all the things happen until they don't, and you don't really know which ones do or don't happen throughout the film. And it's like, what's going on? What's any of this? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. You described entirely. The first time watching that, I was like, am I missing everything? This is incredible. But then Spence came in with, the kills are kind of actually really gnarly. And like, obviously it's not a good movie. None of these are. But gosh dang, like freaking Friday the 13th 5 is, it promises you like, don't worry, despite the fact that like Jason's gone, we're back, baby. And it's just like, nope, we got to bring back Jason because this was terrible. So yeah, that Spence just in the comeback made me go for them. But Alex had me in the first half, and I almost, based on the beginning, I almost just went with Alex, but it was a coin toss at the end. So, Spence.
All right. Well, that means your winner is Adelaide Spence. We will start by talking to Alex. Alex, I'm sorry. The era of the orc is over. Not to compare you to an orc, but well, I guess no. They say that era of
Age.
humans is over. Yeah, the age of humans
Era
is
of
over.
men.
Of men. So never mind. You're man in this scenario. Good job, Alex. But no, it was a really good match. It came down to the wire. How are you feeling about it?
Fine. I've still beat Spence in every objective fashion. It's just, one or two opinions. Hobby was never my friend, actually.
Big dog.
What? Factually, Tyler and I are best friends now. No, I'm very happy for Spence. I think this is one of the first times where I've actually won my strengths. Usually, I lose my strengths and take the opponents, and so that was cool. I knew a musical was going to be an uphill battle because Spence just has more knowledge than me in that particular category. Didn't know about Fight Night. That sucks. Gonna have to fix that. But other than that, it was good. As long as these debates are fun, I'll keep doing it unless I'm retired now, which is also possible.
Heck no. You can play as long as you want. Alex, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for being here. This does end your season, unfortunately, in Fanzone Debate, but means one match a week. We can only do so much. But Alex, congrats on the match. We will see you in the season next year, playing maybe not Adelaide again. Maybe someone else. Probably someone else. Unless I fuck up the schedule again, like I did that one time that Richard Schwartz played. Anyway, all right, Alex, congrats. We'll see you next time. As we bring in Adelaide. Adelaide, congrats on the win. You're moving on in this picture. But before we get to that, you have now defeated Alex. I guess in my original scenario, you are the orc, but orcs are cool. So you're
They eat fish, I think.
Sure. They know what menus are, at least.
That's true.
Urukai do for sure. Your thoughts on the match?
I'm going to say two things.
Okay.
Number one, I was certain he won that musicals question. I thought I fucked it up. Goes to show you. Number two, I filmed 2 matches today. I won both of them. Get tattoos, y'all. Got a tattoo? Lossless so far. Cover your body in ink and you're going to start winning. I think if Tyler lifted up his shirt, it would just be like 1,000 fucking tattoos. Like he's broken.
Nice.
I had a really fun time. I am sweating. Alex thoroughly made me again. I think every match comments like, God, I should have prepped more. I'm really thinking it today. Like Alex had structured arguments ready. He had counterpoints. I was flying by the seat of my pants for too much of that. I need to. Whenever I play Jack Pinchuk, which I'm hoping is fucking next. Beat his ass. I really need to make sure that I'm prepping better and preparing and actually ready for counterpoints and not just, I think this is what I could say.
That's fair. Yeah, we were going to talk about what's coming up next for you, Spence. And we know who you're going to be playing.
Jack
we
Pinchuk.
don't know because we haven't shot it yet. But we know because it aired already. You're going to be playing the winner of... Not Jack, unfortunately. You're going to be playing the winner of Jacoby Bancroft and Robert Kastner. You played Jacoby once this year already.
I played him twice overall.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you want another shot at Jacoby? You've never played Robert in debate, I don't think. They have very different styles, so that could be interesting. What are your thoughts?
I've lost Jacoby twice. I just won the Horror Icons question, and I beat Robert in the last word on Wizarding World. My biggest fucking handicaps, I can do better at him than. So I pray to fucking God Jacoby isn't amazing, because he always is amazing. But like if you can coast to this one match, I'd really appreciate it.
Well, all I can say is this. We're shooting a match in Fandom where I am playing Jacoby the same day that we're shooting the match where I have to judge Jacoby in debate. So I might be able to help you out.
I hope you're playing each other first. That would be great.
We are. So if he beats me in Fandom, I got your back, Spence. All right, Adelaide, good shit. We will see you in the next match, and that's gonna do it for us today at Fanzone Debate. It's been a while since we shot one of these. Thank you to Tyler. Hey, Tyler, you did a great job. Good shit, man.
Thanks.
Thank you, Javi, for being here. Thank you to all the people behind the scenes who help make this show run, the Menchakas, the Kolkowskis, the Michaels. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time with more Fan Zone debate. Until then, have a good one. Bye.
There we go. Thanks a lot. Come again.
Hey, I won't forget what you've done for me here today.
I would prefer that you do.